Hello, welcome everybody to what I believe will be our final dive in the Backyard Deep expedition. We are live today from San Clemente Fault Scarp off the coast of Southern California. You are looking at a live feed out of the front science camera. It's a 4K camera off the ROV SuBastian. We are quite deep today, 2,000, about 40 meters down. We are tethered to the RV Falcor. For those of you wondering about the temperature down here, it is 2.7 degrees Celsius. That's actually almost a full degree colder than your refrigerator. Today's dive is going to be a short one. We had a small hydraulic leak on the ROV earlier today, so our full dive had been cut short. We pulled the ROV out, got it fixed up, and now we're back down here for just a few short hours to try to get some work done. We're looking at sampling some megafauna down here, hopefully some things we haven't seen at some shallower depths. We're going to also try to get some push cores near some obvious methane seeping areas. We're also on the hunt for some snails or some worms of a reddish color. So yeah, enjoy, follow along, send us any questions you may have, and we'll be happy to attempt our best to answer them. And here we go.
Hey Tyler, convert 2,000 meters to miles. So we're at that point.
I've got that for you there.
1,600 meters is a mile.
1,600 meters is a mile versus
So for those not super familiar with the metric system, we are 2,040 meters. That's about 6,700 feet. So about a mile and a quarter, I would say. So pretty far down here. Definitely the deepest. 1.27, so a little bit more than 1 1/4. Thank you, John. This is definitely the deepest dive that we've had as part of this expedition. We've been mostly working in the 600 to 900 meter range. So today is quite a departure, so we're hoping to find some things that we haven't seen yet.
Thanks, Tyler. I'm at 2.7 degrees Celsius, what's that, like 30, that's like 35 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It's like a winter day.
I always say it's like the temperature of your refrigerator.
Yeah, you put on gloves and hat, all that stuff.
It's certainly not warm out there.
Winter coat. These guys have the winter coat. What's that?
36.86 degrees Fahrenheit.
Cool.
Or a balmy 37. If you want to round it up.
So the sea cucumber has quite a jacket.
One of those swimming ones.
That's like good perspective.
Okay, so we are on the lookout for things we haven't seen before at other depths. We are going to take some push cores in a little bit, but not quite yet.
Okay.
And we are looking for snails or worms that have a slightly reddish tint to them. That's the general.
The swimming scale work.
Yeah. I think it's a scale work.
Yeah, he swims around.
What's the name?
Scale work?
Scale.
And a tube work.
Can't be sitting. We're going to let you leave it.
There's also deep one, right?
Go out to that.
So, which way are we going? Is there any particular?
Did we see any signs of a seep anywhere before we?
No, not in any of the data.
Okay. Let's just cruise. I don't know. I don't think we have a general direction right now.
I think you guys were, before you're heading.
I'd like to cover some ground. We only have, whatever, 4 hours, so.
Well, you have a question or a request up on Facebook, right? Young lady.
Oh.
Amphipods? Okay, we will keep our eye out for amphipods. As anytime you're in the natural environment, you're not guaranteed to see any one particular thing, but we will certainly have our eyes out. And there's also a question about pressure. Do we have an exact pressure?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Peter.
Sorry. Okay. So with my buddy Cody.
Pressure is 2976 PSI.
For the 2976 PSI.
Yes, sir.
Mister, can I get into it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that jellyfish?
I think it's a Medusa. I'm not positive about that.
Pete, do we have a direction we'd like to go in, or are we just trying to cover some ground?
Start with the forward-looking sonar there.
Pretty sure that's a Medusa.
Yeah.
Do you want to try to slurp it?
No,
No?
I don't think so. So here's what I'd like to try and find between now and 4:25. So we want to be on deck at 8 p.m.
I'm going to be on deck at 8 p.m.
On deck at 8 p.m.
Okay.
So we have until 6:30. We
Okay.
got 2 hours. Lots of cool jelly.
That's it.
That's your butt. I think it's all fish. Big fish, too.
Oh.
There's a big fish to your left. How did that go? It's a weird looking jelly. Yeah, so I think that's another one of these Argentiniforms, or I think they're called slickheads. Something.
Slickheads. Possibly.
Weird looking.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So at this site, there's supposedly these things called barite mounds, and they look like carbonates, but they're made. They have the element barium in them. So anything that looks rocky, where you want to go, yeah. So anything that looks sort of where you might be getting some hard targets, try and go there. Yeah, just noticing a few of those.
So here we can see some brittle stars, maybe a feather star.
What?
Bring it.
Seriously, I'll leave you alone soon.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah, I know. I have all my shit set up. Let's just
Let's
get
go.
to it. It'll take like 5 minutes.
You're right. I was like, why is here to beat me up for no reason at all? Except, of course, there's a good reason. Oh, there's your pockmark. Crater.
What is that in there? I guess a brittle star is just pulled.
Bridge, ROV control, got a new waypoint for you.
Alright, so let's keep an eye out for stuff that looks like rocks.
Man,
Stuff that looks like rocks.
Yeah.
Not sure.
I'll print out the moon stuff for you, Tyler.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm staying strong.
There's nothing there, Cody.
There's a little crater.
Cheating all night.
I saw you. That was dinner time.
You try to keep me a little tighter. I'm heavy. Plus I'm like 75.
So as our expedition winds down, if you are interested in looking back all of our dives, I think pretty much in their entirety, right, John? Oh, John's gone. Pretty much in their entirety are available on YouTube. And if you're looking for extra content, you can search the hashtag BackyardDeep on Twitter and Instagram to see pictures or posts from our entire trip. As I mentioned, I believe this is our last dive of this expedition, and it will be an abbreviated dive. So let's all take a little moment to enjoy this. Yeah, so there's a question about how much ROV SuBastian costs. I guess all told, our estimates are between $5 and $6 million. So we are actually only about halfway to the maximum depth capacity of SuBastian. SuBastian can reach down just over 4,000 meters. So we're quite comfortable here, about half that depth, 2,000 meters.
Big shadow cast on one side. That's probably one of the later things. Big old jelly. It's the same jelly I've ever seen. That's good.
So for those of you wondering what's going on inside the control room, we currently have 7 people in here right now. Nope, take that back, 6 people. We have 3 ROV pilots, pilot, co-pilot, and we have a data logger, a sample logger, and then the watch leader. We are looking at about 20 screens in front of us showing us various views, both of, or from, I should say, SuBastian, as well as some key components on the ship, like the winch that's supporting the cable that we're tethered to, as well as some maps of the area and some other key readouts. We also have a sonar readout in front of us that shows up about 30 meters ahead of us and will reflect back any large objects that are up ahead. We also have a window open where I can see the live stream and your questions.
Oh, it's 2.
Yeah, we also have other screens behind us where the sample loggers and data loggers sit to help facilitate their jobs as well.
Jelly now? Jelly now. There's something off to my right there. I don't know where we're going. You want to zoom out on your map and see if there's any areas that you can like?
That comp's pretty high.
I wonder what these mounds are.
All these mountains?
Yeah.
You want to like stop and like?
I don't know. I was just asking Brandon, you know what they are. No, we're looking for barites, so they're harder. They're gonna look like more like rocks than just mounds.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and do it? Waypoint the vessel.
Right there. Bridge ROV control. I have a new waypoint.
Copy that, new waypoint.
Little miss map. What's that on the
So we're happy to do our best to answer any of your questions. That being said, my realm of expertise is not in the megafauna realm. We do have some other people here in the room who are a little more familiar with the animals that live down here. So if you do have specific questions, we'll kind of work as a team to answer them the best we can. So for those of you just joining us now, we are diving the San Clemente Fault Scarp just off the coast of Southern California. This is by far our deepest dive of our expedition. We are just a little less than 2,040 meters. Most of our work has come in the 600 to 900 meter range, so this is quite a lot deeper than we've been working in, but is well within the ROV SuBastian's comfortable zone. It can dive down to just over 4,000 meters, so we're well within operating depth.
I don't know, because there's so many. I don't think they're that common. You see, there are many.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
What? That would be so good.
Isn't it? That guy.
You know what this kind of fish is?
I think it's a Pacific Grenadier, but I'm not sure.
Pacific what?
Grenadier?
Grenadier?
Yeah, let me check. But I'm not sure. I don't know if they have this.
That's super.
It's one of those good ones that look really awesome when they're small.
That's a cucumber. Or
Yeah,
Sea cucumber.
that's an interesting sea
or
cucumber.
It could be a snail. I think it's more a snail.
Gosh, right.
I don't know, is that something we want?
I think it's more a snail. Or
I
like
think so.
I don't know, like a sizzler.
Yeah, it might be.
What was that? There was something on the seafloor below this once we're done looking at this.
I think it's a sizzler.
Or what? I don't know, this red, what is this?
Oh, that little jelly? Or
Is it a jelly? I couldn't see what it was.
That's just a
Okay.
little jelly.
I thought it was on the seafloor for a
So what
second.
is it
But
for red snails? Huh?
yeah, something like a reddish tint.
Do you want me to follow that guy in?
I guess we're actually not, with our time constraint, it's not very high on our list. So
So don't play with this guy here, right? Leave him be.
yeah, I think we can move on.
Why? This is a new sizzler.
You want it?
I don't know. I think it's cool.
Do we still know where that was?
Yeah.
Is it above us somewhere?
Yeah, you want it?
Yeah, let's grab
I
it.
mean, it's not for me. Not for me.
I need you to turn my index up.
It's just like a.
We have less. We have 2 hours.
While I try to find this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, technically, it's high on our dive plan, so we can only get so much done throughout it, so we should just grab it if it's here.
Yeah.
But why are we just
We have to make our way into this. So we have to get out. We have to go to the submarines to find it.
because they're going to water dive.
Just wait.
Then early tomorrow, I guess. So I don't know. That's my guess. And then we have to move somewhere.
So we have to move down to collect the fresh cars.
Only go one.
I don't.
There's water
Okay.
so don't listen to me. Come on.
So no, it's so number one is what it always is, just like it's a biological and exploratory dive, look around the area. 2 is collect unique animals. So
This is a really
and 3 is the same, slurp sample around, so it's collecting animals. And 4 is push cores to be collected around interesting sites. I don't know
At which sites?
what that means. Interesting sites. I feel like one of these mounds is
I understand it's pretty open.
and then grab samples of barrites.
That's in my bag.
What is that?
Alright, let me get this thing lined up.
So that's literally all of it.
You just put it back on the high setting, then I gotta go off the other end. You ready?
Yep.
in that bad spot where it gets stuck between 2 and 3. I'm not moving it yet. Might have to go up more or...
So my name is Tyler Garvin. I'm a graduate student in the Gurgis Lab at Harvard University. I'm interested in the deep sea as proxies for similar ocean worlds that may or may not exist, both in our solar system and beyond. So my expertise is more in the microbiology range than it is in the megafauna, but we are fortunate to be also on the ship with some folks from the Scripps Oceanographic Institute who are much more thoroughly trained in the art of identifying some of the creatures we'll see today. So if you do have some questions, I'll do my best to pass those along and get you some answers. Yeah, so there's a comment about a lot of particulate matter, and so we casually call that marine snow. So that's basically a combination of detritus and kind of decaying organic matter that is falling from the more populated regions in the photic zone. That is the first maybe 100 or 200 meters of the ocean. So kind of all of that organic material rains down throughout the sea column and throughout the water column, and really is the basis of the food chain for a lot of organisms all along the way. And then it eventually comes down to rest on the sea floor, where it's also utilized by a lot of these sea creatures.
Sorry, we're just trying to get this thing to rotate. We're going to need it to go on a lot. Down deep.
So if you want to keep going, like the side.
Well, they're working on the ROV right now, so we can't. We're just waiting for a second.
I think these might be
Down here.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, we're gonna
slurp him as soon as
we're gonna try to get him in a second.
I just don't want to spook him again until we're ready to go. Might have to give it a tap around. It's just going to stop right there. Ready to use out? Let me sign some.
So you're looking at right now, looking right down the hose of our suction sampler. That's basically an underwater vacuum cleaner that we can use to slurp up samples that we find. You're also looking at 2 canisters, one labeled 1 and 8. There's actually a rotating disc underneath holding those 8 total canisters that we can use to house our samples that we suck up through the suction sampler.
Find any good rocks?
Not yet.
We found these like mounds.
Yeah, those might be barite mounds.
They were very like.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's our pressure?
You could slurp one of those if you want.
Should we push core it?
You could push core it. That's even better.
Okay. Yeah, the next one we'll see. We're gonna.
Were they white?
They're whiter.
Yeah, maybe lighter colored than the surrounding area.
It's not something you think an animal burrowed up, because if they do that, it might change the color. But it just looked a little. Oh, it's big?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would totally push core it.
You don't have that light on over there. You don't have that light on over there, the side light.
It's a hard target off at your 2 o'clock, Cody.
Yep.
Is that anything interesting?
We don't know right now.
When we're done here, can we go visit it?
Sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going to slurp up the thing we were going to get first? Or
Yes, sir.
Okay. Switching on now.
Attention.
Pump's on.
Yes.
Two. Yes.
Kept it on this one.
Some of these are Mariana, right?
What's that?
So we saw some of these are Mariana, right?
So there's a question of whether we use our push cores for geological compositional purposes or biological. I would say it's probably a combination of both. We do have a particular interest in the Gerges lab in understanding how the microbes living in this sediment can affect the rest of the system, both from a geological perspective and a biological perspective.
Stop messing with the chair. Is it a what?
There, that was it's a perfect shot. We sucked up that purple sea cucumber in one go, and now we just saw it nicely deposited right into jar number 1.
Yes, there is.
Huge. Turn those.
Yeah, and also more biomass. Both.
Can we turn those to air?
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna
So how
feather
are you with oxygen?
All right. There was a hard target starboard.
Gerard, what jar was that?
That was jar 1.
Oh no.
Although I did just instead. It's like you need to turn it up.
So the other problem I would warn you about is that when you read about oxygen,
Can we actually just go down right and look at like these light patches just for a second before we go over to that hard spot? Like right below us right now, there's all these.
Hold on, I just
the
got
oxygen minimum zones were
There's big about
Yeah, can we go down there for a second?
no, actually.
but they were no more, or they were no more sourcing the surface, deep water. It was just another part of.
Why are we cruising right now? Oh, because we're. Yeah, gotcha.
Yes, correct. Because of climate change. Also, science, I have to tell you, in my opinion, go take this with, what they say, a little grain of salt. Science is full of fashion and fad and trends.
So one of the things that you all don't see, but happens pretty quickly and often behind the scenes is there's a very careful dance between the ROV and the RV Falcor above us. We want to keep just the proper amount of distance so that our tether doesn't get too slack or too tight. So we're constantly having to reposition and then also have the ship reposition in order to kind of keep us in that safe zone.
So everybody gets on this big wagon and they go as constantly. So when we read the papers today, it's not that they're wrong, but I think we have to remember fluid times are biased. And I think the way we look at oxygen is to say, put it this way, modern papers, the way it sounds is oh my god, there are all these oxygen.
So one of these mounds, you want to stop at one of these mounds?
I just wanted to look like this one that's right below us.
Just slow down just a little bit. So any one of these.
Just for one. Can we go over to these ones right here on the right hand side?
Yep. Did you give them which one?
These were the mounds we were talking about here. They kind of look like burrows.
No, there's biological.
Did you move that there?
You want us to push more?
Nope.
No.
Those are animal burrows.
Okay.
So, yeah, those are just small enough that I wouldn't worry about.
Okay. Let's. There is that little hard point on the sonar. Can we kind of head that direction?
You're talking about the one on the left?
On the right, there's a. What's that bright pin?
That's the mount.
Oh, never mind.
That's what?
There is a target over there. It's just not super hard.
That's super hard. Probably young.
Got some wire.
Yeah, if we could check out whatever that hard target is.
I got a big one right there.
Oh, just a butter mouse, right?
But not just the oxygen, so what else?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But the problem is in the ocean, many trace elements are much lower concentrations than in atmosphere. For example, manganese, that is one of the concentrations. Like, it's 10,000 times lower the concentration than and then you find that it goes back.
Yeah, we can just keep moving.
So I think, not 100% sure, but maybe 80% sure. That is a lot of trace metals in the ocean on the continent.
There's some rocky stuff right here.
So that's true.
What about this stuff?
That's right. The ocean.
That good? There's another one just past it.
I think those are all
metals.
animal burrows. You can kind of see down into them.
I got a hard target out of
Literally,
it.
the Earth's crust is like a cake. You get the heavier elements, a lot of them at the bottom and some lighter ones at the top. The manganese iron one confuses me a bit. So I thought manganese is heavier. Maybe not, right? No. Yeah, it's 2+, but I'm just talking about the elements. What the tectonic acids, but it doesn't, anyway. But that's it's continental water.
So it's the hard target.
But some,
Can I zoom in on that for a second? I think it's just buckets, right? Just looks like buckets. Buckets with lots of brittle stars. Right? That's not anything. Not even in the back.
Just looks like it must have been a pile of trash.
Trash.
All to be in the same pile.
Yeah. Alright, let's keep it moving.
Oh, that is a very good point.
but I have been down to throughout itself.
What's that?
In action to release this. So I don't know, but I found a lot of lead, zinc, lithium, copper.
When we get home, send me an email. I'm going to push in touch with a friend of mine who is a chemist who studies the metals and hydrogen.
Do we have, can I throw up the lasers for a second?
Jeff Leeds. He's a really nice guy. Like most professors, you know, you have to sort of open up religious to get the attention so this, but I think he would be a best person.
They look down a little bit.
This is what he does. And he also analyzes water.
Oh, you're telling me?
I had one.
So you can talk to him about that. And he will tell you, you know, as I have shared with you.
I don't know what that is.
Ships water, you have too much metal.
I don't know.
There's some
Grab it?
You lose some resolution. Anyway, he really is the person to talk to.
I want to say this, I want to put the same year that
Yeah, let's just keep going.
for example, it helps them that with production to measure counts.
Ready to draw a big show down new waypoint.
New waypoint.
I don't have house in front of me, but the concept, for example, we're thinking that the energy of sea water is 160. And in Galapagos, I saw 250. So it's naturally enriching. I just don't know if it's hydrogen plants that are making this.
Well, it could be that some of the elements are enriched in beds and others are reduced.
There's a lot of mounds around here.
Right? So
Yeah, they're not the type we're looking for, I guess.
Zero in that water.
But like large. So this feature, when we are
I wrote up some lunar fun facts
Good question.
Thank
for
you.
you. And this is a map, as it's International Observer Night. If you want a hashtag, it's like hashtag Observe the Moon.
Okay.
It's an NASA jam,
Okay.
but the facts are pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
But start on a very basic scale. They cannot make these elements out of nothing, right? So they have to come from somewhere.
So as I mentioned earlier, I am particularly interested in deep sea as a proxy environment for environments of ocean worlds, some of which are moons of planets in our own solar system. And
What if our fish moves to habitat?
just so happens that tonight is International Observe the Moon Night. That is of our own moon. If you want to see pictures or contribute to it, it's hashtag Observe the Moon. the moon will appear for the northern hemisphere at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific. There's so some of the things you might see on the moon. There's those dark patches, which are known as mare. They were originally thought to be maybe seas on the moon's surface. With greater technology, we realized that was not actually the case. The dark patches are actually lava plains. Those are areas of really dark basalt rock. They don't contain any water, and they have never contained any water. Those dark patches, that molten rock was actually created from violent impacts of meteors that hit our moon's surface. So most of the mare, most of those dark spots you see on the moon are only on the Earth-facing side. Only about 1% of the far side of the moon is actually covered with mare. Some of the seas, those lunar seas, in quotations, have names, have nicknames. You'll see the Sea of Nectar, the Sea of Serenity, the Known Sea, Lake of Time, Lake of Luxury, the Marsh of Rot, the Bay of Roughness, Ocean of Storms. Again, we have to remind ourselves that those are not actually oceans. Those are lava plains of dark basalt rock, but very beautiful nonetheless. So I would encourage you to go out today and take a moment, look up at the moon. If you have a telescope, even better. If you'd like to share some of your favorite pictures, you can share them on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag #ObserveTheMoon.
So it's not just fresh water, because that is a big part of fresh water, but some people suggest that areas with very high demand would also expect a lot of water. I don't remember that it's a positive or a negative relation.
Sure.
The other one is that I don't know anything about this water, because so for example, the corals and ferns, they have defined their relation with water and pH. And this hypothesis relations with pH. And I found
That thing's huge, huh?
I found some barley with oversouls that were kind of beside medical part because this is an excitement and I think it's a real signature. And I don't know how to play that with myself. And I think
So boron, okay, let's take another step back. So I don't know why boron and oxygen are related to boron and acidification. Because I think the boron forms boric acid at low pH. Is that true? What's the chemical reason?
so.
Yeah, that looks like trash, maybe? Trash bag.
Yeah, that makes sense. But in order for this to matter, PK, right? Which
Yeah, you want to get a little bit closer?
boric acid.
So yeah, this bag of trash is a not so subtle reminder that we are very close to the shore of Southern California. Sightings of trash have not been uncommon throughout this trip, but there is a little octopus perched up top, which does bring a small smile to our faces amidst the reality of all this garbage. There's like a massive sea spider on there too, huh?
So I don't know how I'm going to interpret my boron to calcium with ocean acidification happening in oxygen.
There's another.
Is that an octopus?
Yeah, it's an octopus.
Yeah, I
Oh my
guess.
god, it's so cute!
Alright, I think we can move on.
What's that?
So I think we should move on.
Roger that.
Cool eyes.
Yeah, it's a really cool octopus.
But yeah, so I think that had oxygen.
Updated waypoint bridge.
So there's a new area of research called isoclump, like a CLUMPED. They call them clumped isotopes. And it's not that the isotopes are physically sticky, but the idea is that you want to understand methane in the cycle. Most people look at carbon, they look at carbon 12 and 13, or they look at hydrogen. They look at the hydrogen material. But methane and clumped isotopes like to say is look at both of them and come up with a ratio of them, because sometimes that's the most sensitive. So you don't need clumped isotopes, but the concept of thinking about how do you look at 2 or 3 elements as a system, right, where together they can do more resolution than any one of them, I think is a really neat idea.
Hard to your start.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like one of those BS fly trap and enemy things.
Yeah, but what's it on?
It's another bag.
Yeah, it definitely looks like some kind of trash of some kind. It's a really nice shot of pretty large Venus flytrap anemone there.
Yeah, it could be.
That's the way that is.
That's often used again to look at the difference between vent water and ocean water. So
We started.
We're going to have nightmares. But I had fish mouth.
Did you see the hagfish one?
No.
You want to see it?
No.
this is what they've been doing. This is what they've been doing.
How big are these snails that we're looking for?
I think those are real low on our list of updated objectives. We're really looking for those barites. We're going to try to do some slurp sampling and some push cores if we can find those barite sites. But so for those of you who may have missed our whale fall dive, I highly recommend going back and watching at least part of that to really see the kind of communities that sprout up on the seafloor really out of nowhere once they find these whale falls. In this case, this was a man-made whale fall. There was a fin whale that was struck by a ship, I believe, off the coast of Southern California and had washed up on the shore. And some scientists at Scripps carried it back out and strapped it with some weights in order to sink it to the bottom of the seafloor and see what kind of habitats sprouted up. And that was, I think, in 2011, so 7 years now have passed, and you can really see the kind of decay. It was mostly just bone left, but there still is a lot of both microbial communities and as well as other megafaunic communities that use that as a basis of their life support. So it was a really cool opportunity to see that, and I recommend if you didn't see it live that you go back and at least watch in part because it was so interesting.
There's land right there.
That's the species is the most important species there. They call it black color, but it's not black color, it's like so they're also humans. So people in the office they ask to journalize this data. And one thing that I was I also so I have global target and yellow snapper, the same species. And I have yellow snapper and this grouper in Galapagos. So what I was comparing there came for signature, and my question was.
So I'm sure the majority of you have seen in the bottom left corner of your screen our depth 2,036 meters. Maybe you haven't taken the time yet to convert that into feet. If you're more comfortable with feet, that's about 6,600 feet. So about a mile, a little over a mile and a quarter below the surface now. Definitely the deepest we've dived during this expedition. Really just doubling the depth at which most of other activities have occurred. Mostly between 600 and 900 meters. So this is a kind of a new environment for us. We're really coming down to check this area out. Yeah, what's that?
You're at a new waypoint for you, Bridge. There you go, right there.
Is it a sponge or a sponge, huh?
I got a pretty hard curve on my right.
But also the higher performance for these elements compared to the rest of them. Because we also have like I don't know. But it's cool. And now I've had it with focus on breakpoints, and I did some preliminary analysis basically. But there are some different things there that I don't know if I'm going to find it for oxygen.
Yeah.
In oxygen zones.
Yeah.
But there are some elements that does move, shown like and I think there's something. So I'm going to try to listen for the questions like that, the environmental for the particular species. See how much the environmental much is physiological.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But it is
Yeah, no kidding.
I want to do that because it's like so, and I know it's very difficult to calculate, but it's possible to reconstruct the temperature that they needed. I would like to see how and I don't know if that's good. But I saw very, very different developments. I have a very young season. The gas is they but they found out that there was a check.
Yeah.
A check of the 997, a check of the
Yeah.
So, in effect, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it does affect that it's so much one.
Something out there, straight ahead, kind of. Another sponge, huh? They kind of look, here's a picture of what we're looking for. They're going to be kind of distinctive, I think, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely, alright. Up to the left there, so it's down left there, the thing that he just showed me looks like they're going to be about the same size as that sponge.
No, we know for a fact that the amount of marine snow that reaches the seafloor during the years is less.
Okay. Do you think that might affect the better species?
Yeah.
The resuscitation species?
I think so. Yeah.
And there's a time lag.
There's a person there. I think a good person for you to talk to. His name is Michael.
So we are winding down our
Professor at
backyard deep expedition. We've been at sea now for 2.5, almost 3 weeks.
wrote a nature paper.
We named our expedition Backyard Deep to really remind people that these locations that we've been diving are right off the coast of Southern California. They are in our proverbial backyard. We've been really as close as just a couple of miles off the coast of Malibu, I believe, was our furthest inland dive. But really, in the grand scheme of things, even 10 to 15 miles offshore is very, very close. And up until very recently, we knew almost nothing about this area. So we really wanted to bring this right into your homes and have you understand that these incredible, unique environments are really this close to you. If you want to see more of our content, you can check out our dives that they were streamed live but have been saved as recordings on the YouTube page. You can also see pictures and a little more information on Instagram and Twitter if you search the hashtag BackyardDeep.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Could very well be. So.
Updated waypoint bridge.
All right, I have to go talk to the bridge.
Thank you. My wife was the guy, and then first one like a picture.
That thing is crazy, huh?
Who is this fish? You zoom in on its face or whatever, it seems to resemble a face. Oh yeah, that's snipe eel?
We got a snipe eel.
Did you?
That was an ROV by catch.
Oh my
It
goodness.
came above there.
10%. Wow. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to step out for a minute, Tyler, but I mean, just keep doing your search, look for barite mounds. You know, I mean, there's a picture actually in the dive site.
Yes, I saw that. In terms of push cores, you don't want any background push core.
No.
You just want
If
you find it,
anything,
yeah,
correct.
Okay.
But other than that, don't take samples we don't need.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just cruise. See what we
Yeah.
can see.
Absolutely. It's good. What you're doing now is good. Escarpment, right? And what's our depth? Our depth is 20. Oh yeah, keep going shallow.
Okay.
Keep going shallow.
Okay.
And whatever you can do to get us about 1,900 meters would be great.
Okay.
1,800 to 1,900.
Okay.
So does that work for you?
Yep.
Just pass it along to the pilots.
Great. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
I forgot that first one.
Yeah. So you guys heard him. We want to work shallower
Jeff.
as we go.
Just like this serial.
Try to make it to 1,800, 1,900 meters by 6:30,
And then just pull it in that way.
and then pull it. I mean, however, we want to be on deck by 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know. Are we heading in the direction of the rise?
Once we turn the port a little bit.
The rise is the blue? Like purple to blue?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
That's
So
which
yeah,
way
let's
this is
turn
going.
that way. And
That's which way we've been going. I'm
okay.
just
Yeah.
zigzagging so the
Yeah, we can
bus
take it
catch up.
kind of easy in that direction, but.
Okay. Yeah. Target port. Alright. Yeah. I think we have like 6:30 is what we're aiming to start bringing up. So,
Okay, so it'll probably work out okay.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys figure out what's in the photo?
No, not yet.
Stove.
Treasure.
Treasure chest?
Turn attention.
That does not look like that. That looks like the world's first laptop.
I know. That's what I was just thinking.
It seriously does, right? It totally looks like a very
scanner.
old
It's
laptop.
a predator.
Ah, yeah, it is a scanner. Good call,
Oh
Cody.
yeah.
Is that like,
We get to push.
oh my god.
Yes, the scanner, printer.
Guess it wasn't working on the ship.
There's the battle thing.
Isn't that crazy? Look at how many secret
What's that?
These are secret codes are spawning.
The what?
Spawning.
They're spawning.
Ours on the way over by the mouse?
How many there are?
Yeah.
I don't know what is the baseline, but I mean, look how many. When you see like a lot of individuals in one place, usually they're spawning. And the cool thing is that I don't know for city keepers, but it might be like doing 1 week the entire whole
Yeah.
and we're like, oh,
Yeah, if we were this lucky, we'd have seen a lot.
I think people have been seeing city keepers spawning before. So we have. we should like zoom in and see if something's coming up.
Hey, do you want a boogie?
You want to go a little bit faster?
Go a little bit faster, try to get shallower.
How? So can you zoom out, Cody, on that map?
Yeah.
Let's say, how long would it take us to reach like the edge of the yellow, green yellow?
Right here?
The next set.
Right here?
Yeah.
A while. But I mean, we could speed up maybe.
Around 2,000 meters away.
Yeah. So if we speed up, we're not going to reach that. The end of that. And
We'll probably reach the.
what's a realistic goal in terms of?
Probably right here.
Okay. So yeah, I say if that's the case, I say we speed up
Okay.
and just keep our eye out for these barites or anything like ridiculously cool, and just try to be like as efficient
Okay.
with covering ground as we can be.
Bridge, ROV.
ROV bridge.
Hey Jason, how fast are we going right now?
Half an hour.
Half an hour? Let's go ahead and bump that up to 0.7.
Okay.
And I got an updated waypoint for you. We're just going to keep continuing going at trying to cover as much ground as possible.
Yep.
Thanks, Jason.
My auto altitude set at 1.3. Jeez. I mean, if you're gonna pull the shit up, bitch. Keith.
All these pictures that we kids were in this no lively tags of security. I'm joking. I don't know.
Back up to YouTube, Denver. Back up to YouTube. That's where it says say something. Jump over YouTube. Okay. Go down. We're just going to chat.
So there's a question about Europa and Enceladus having low gravity. So presumably the oceans would have lower water pressures, and would that make exploring them more challenging? I guess off the top of my head, I would say no. I would say the challenges occur with the more pressure you do have. Obviously, the deeper you dive, the more water pressure you encounter, and the the more limited tools you have to explore that area, you have to design new tools to withstand that pressure. I would think that the lower water pressure on those ocean moons would ultimately make it slightly easier for us. Obviously, there's a whole set of hurdles that would have to be overcome, including finding a way to make our way through the sea ice into the liquid ocean itself, that I would deem to be a much larger challenge than whatever variance in water pressure there is from those oceans to ours. Yes, so there's a question about whether we're located in the dive vehicle or on the ship on the surface. So SuBastian is an ROV, so it's remotely operated from the ship. There's obviously pros and cons to that, but the biggest pro is our dive length. We can stay down virtually indefinitely, just because we're cabled to the ship, giving us all the power we need. And there's no restraints to actually having someone in the sub. Is what? Oh, I thought it was a jelly, but now what is this?
Yeah, it's one of those things we sampled yesterday. A whole bunch of worms.
You guys sampled that yesterday?
Yeah, but that was at the other location.
I don't know what that is.
And then sunrise with it? Really going by it.
So there's a question about the ROV. Does the ROV have any programming system board made by you guys, or is it black box system purchased from another company?
Made for us.
Made for us.
It's
Yeah.
a special operating system made for SuBastian.
Yeah, so it is a custom-made operating system specifically for SuBastian.
How big is this jelly?
Very big.
Yeah, can we throw lasers up for a second? Yeah, it's quite large, I think. We saw one of these yesterday, too. Wow. Yeah, it's massive. So for those watching at home, those two green lasers you see on the bottom of the jelly now, midpoint in the jelly, is about 10 centimeters. So this thing is very large. Got pictures of that? This thing is sweet.
Can you guys put the lasers on that thing?
Yeah, we just had them up.
You just what?
We just had them up.
They were on.
How big is that?
It's like 30 centimeters across.
The diameter is like huge.
Yeah, that's gigantic. Kevin and I were in the library.
Put the lasers on!
We had them on. Surprised you guys didn't see them.
You get spawning?
There's one. Look at them there. It's like
Oh no! Cut yourself.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Thank you.
What is this stuff?
I have no idea. So you see a lot of really tiny jellies, or maybe even some tiny sea cucumbers that are really quite active in the lowest levels of this water column. They're not touching the sea floor, but they're very low. Obviously, you can see lots of them.
There is one. Or it could be a cohort of juveniles. Because we are like different size. You know.
Yeah.
Might be a large migration going on.
Or something. I would believe the spawning theory.
Like the yellow folder.
Updated waypoint bridge.
Updated waypoint.
What's that down to the left? Can I look down?
I guess.
Yeah, it's like an enemy or...
So Tyler, I think we just saw some coordinates. Remember above one rock, some things that look like a sponge? And without it is a sponge with some coordinates.
Okay.
And it's crazy. It's 28. This is another organism.
Well, if we see another one, we can grab it if you want it.
I mean, it's like two, I just found pretty cool. Because I never saw one. So weird. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know. That looks like that.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be a sponge too. or it is this guy here?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Random? Okay. Wake up. So what's that? Don't you think that this is
Maybe.
there are two caves.
That's good.
So many caves. Oh my god, what the heck?
It's that monitor. Yeah, because Jason had hacked him right there and saw us, man. Down to video.
So again, this is most likely the last dive of our backyard deep expedition.
New waypoint bridge.
We are having kind of an abbreviated dive today, as we had a small hydraulic leak on the ROV earlier and had to bring it up to the surface and find the leak and repair it.
Yes, sir.
It's unfortunate that it happened on today of all days, as it takes nearly an hour and a half to transit all the way from the bottom at 2,000 meters all the way to the surface. So we brought the ROV all the way down, discovered the leak, had to bring it all the way back up. Now you're looking at 3 hours, not to mention the time that it takes to actually find the leak and fix it. Now we're back in the water again. It takes another hour and a half to get to the bottom. So we really only have maybe only about another hour left of time in the bottom, where we really have to get moving to try to find really our primary goal of some barites, which is a type of rock. So you'll have to forgive us if we're cruising past some very interesting features and things with limited time. We're really trying to get to our most urgent responsibilities while we can.
Our target's there.
And again, as this is our deepest dive of the expedition, we are actually at our lowest water temperature as well. It's currently 2.6 degrees Celsius. For those of you who want to know what that is in Fahrenheit, that's just under 37 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the temperature, maybe a few degrees colder than your average refrigerator. So you can imagine this water is very, very cold.
Oh my god.
Another white White gray.
It's a nice.
Oh,
What's the difference between a ray and a skate? You don't know. I think this is a skate, right? I don't know the actual difference between a skate and a ray, but a nice shot of a skate there. Very graceful creatures.
Can you put the laser on?
Here, we're going to throw up the lasers again on the screen to get you a sense of size. So again, that's 10 centimeters there.
that's so nice.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, so it's about a meter wide, almost 3 feet wide, I would say.
Albino?
So
Never seen a white one.
You might see his veins.
so beautiful. You can see the blood. The blood system.
Yes. I've never seen one this color.
It's amazing.
Stay with it for a little bit longer or move on?
We can move on.
Yeah.
Big things were right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's something off to our right. What is that? More trash. Is it trash or is it rock?
Cody says rock,
I think it's a rock.
It does look like rock, right?
except for that.
These block things, I think these are duplicates. They don't better.
That's a little rock.
But then there definitely is trash to the top left there.
Higher.
Those are the things you wanted, right?
These are the they are chordates.
Do you want one?
No, I don't want.
No, you don't
I
want
mean, if you can grab one, it would be cool. I think they're chordates. And that's interesting. But
it. Can we try to grab one of these guys with the single hole chordates?
I think so.
Can we grab it? Do we suck it?
I don't know. Do you know what the composition of it is? It soft? You don't know. I think it's soft. I don't know if it's too large to suction sample, but
It's kind of cool because they are chordates, so they
Give it a little poke.
kind of small.
There's jelly.
Are these chordates?
Yeah, I think they're circuits. Dinner?
Did you see the cake?
Yes.
So, do we want it?
Or
how bad do we want one?
Oh no.
No.
Just
Okay. That's cool. We can move on. I can't tell. Is that rock or is that trash?
it's hard to tell. It looks like
You
it.
want to poke that thing?
Let me poke it.
Yeah, let's poke it.
You always have to do sample one.
We've come to
I
review.
know that this looks like the one that we saw, and they use hydrocarbon vents to lay their eggs.
Cool. To incubate their eggs.
Can make sure that this be white?
Seems like rock.
Hold here 1 second. I don't know if this is the rock we're looking for.
I think we saw this one, and they use the hydrocarbon vents to
Good for me to
lay their eggs.
Have you guys seen it?
Fantastic. Oh, there's a match that just came among some tracks using hydrocarbon vents in Galapagos. Yeah, because it's a warm environment.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting process. But I don't know how many people have seen with that before in other place. I just was like, in this case, because I want to check which one was the one that you saw.
Yeah. Also want to make sure
Did you
what
see
this rock is
Yeah,
before I
with
walk
the
away.
blood.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you can see all of like the veins and stuff.
Oh, I just do this. Spark with my arms.
Is that like bluish or bluish?
I do that on Instagram.
Part of the rock?
What are those little dots right there? Which one? Those small dots to the right here.
Those.
Yeah.
We're going towards where the section rides.
Do you want to take lead? I mean, I can, but I'm going to wait for Tyler to come back.
And then once it's ready, it's
Because he was, I think he's going to go talk to or someone to check if these are the rocks.
Okay, we are not sure, but can we try to take the claw and like break off a piece?
It's like the areas of higher barium concentration. Is that?
Yes, but
Yeah.
there's no way to really tell.
Right. Wow. Look at that. I mean, it is kind of barium-ish. It depends on which kind of barium, what oxidation state. But
I just feel like this is over here. Right there.
take responsibility.
more on your diet today has been very active. Yes, it has.
It works getting like draw.
These are coordinates.
Not hard rock.
Whoa.
It's not hard rock.
It's not.
It's like
Yeah, well, we'll definitely take that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brandon? Should we get a second piece of that?
Careful.
Okay. Let's get a couple pieces of that.
Carbonate. You want to be careful handling it.
Okay.
I want the pork to come out. You go with that last one?
Yeah, if we could grab like maybe 3 pieces of that,
Okay.
about that size would be nice.
How about one coming out?
Oh.
Okay. You guys don't mind?
No,
We'll bring it back.
I'm excited.
So
I don't know what this is.
So we'll take like 3 of these.
yeah, just a couple more, and then we're making our way to the kind of up the slope
Okay.
to the east.
Okay.
We only have 45 minutes left. So
Yeah, yeah. Got it.
I've
Got
been
it.
trying to cover as much ground as possible,
That's
just like
what I
going.
figured.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Grab 3 of these. All right.
yeah. Thanks.
Yep. You're welcome.
One bleak.
Like the color.
What seat do you want?
All right. We are coming in to relieve your watch thus far. My name is Betsy Brielle. I typically cover the Seeping with the Anemone watch, the late night watch. I'm joined by. Do you want to introduce yourself, General?
Do you want to I'm Jen.
So we're joined
I woke
by.
up like half an hour ago. I'm a PhD student at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Study deep sea ecology.
Jen is very knowledgeable about a lot of the species in the deep sea and is a fantastic person. I have learned quite a bit from her. We also refer to her as the General because she is amazing. We're right. She gets snaps for that.
It's very loud, but only left-handed.
And we're also joined by Nicole. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm also from Scripps Institution of Oceanography. I work in the Salmon Lab, which typically studies coral reef environments.
And on this particular cruise, Nicole has done an amazing job of photomosaicing a lot of really interesting structures, including a whale fall, which we dove at a couple days ago. The kinds of visualizations that she does are really impressive, and it brings depth, no pun intended, to a lot of the structures that we see on the seafloor. And what you're seeing right now is what we are thinking might be barytes, barium carbonate. We're actually not sure. We're trying to grab some rock samples from this structure to sample on the top side when they come back. Barytes are interesting from a deep sea perspective. I know from a, I come from the world of planetary science, so from Mars perspective, carbonates in general are interesting. These are barium-based carbonate, which may imply that there's some interesting transformations going on, courtesy of microbes from the local environment. And we're joined by our very capable and amazing ROV pilots, Ben and Cody. We got a sample. I'm calling it. Yeah.
So this is all two.
And it's, I guess, potentially barite.
Which platform?
B1-.
We are currently at a depth of 2,000 meters, so 2 kilometers. That's the equivalent of about a mile and almost a quarter on top of it. It's pretty exciting to be down that deep. Do you guys clap for samples? Because our watch claps when samples hit it.
I clap for Cody,
I clap for Cody at all times.
whether it's clappable or not.
We clap for you too, Ben.
Thank you.
It's teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. So we've got, what, 2 pieces or 3 pieces now of barite in there?
Why are you laughing at me, Cody?
Because I'm mad at you still.
Why?
Because the check bounced.
Wow.
You wasted your time earlier today.
Already bought a house.
I'm not going to wherever you went.
Ooh.
I just want to be best friends.
That's sweet. So we got 3 pieces of what we think might be barite? Maybe?
We're going to close that.
Keep going east. Keep going east.
And we're going
Yeah,
go
keep
east.
going up towards the slope.
Okay, I'm going to get off the mountain.
Don't go west, young man. Go east, young man.
Okay. I do look young. Oh, you J right now. You're sneaking behind me again. Okay.
No, you like it.
It's harassing.
Ben-Hur is a tough name, man. I wouldn't mess with that, Cody. Be careful.
He's like a big bear. Just the arch as a bulldozer.
So,
Are there any Slurpee samples that you would like to take, General?
Yeah, I think they already got one of those pelagic sand cucumbers.
Okay.
A few minutes.
We got
So we're going 0.7.
that skate was amazing.
I just kept pushing that. You know, I think it's almost easier when we have more time around because the game sounds straighter.
For those of you who are just joining us, we are down in the deep, approximately 2 kilometers, so over a mile and almost a quarter. We're at the San Clemente Scarp, which is the formal name of the site, and this is an exploratory dive. We are here to see what is down here and sample only as we need to. There's a lot of really interesting things like this very white skate, which surprised a lot of the people on the science team.
Shout out.
Cody! Woo! Welcome. See, no one on the other watches cheers for the ROV pilots, except for our watch.
East. We're just going east to shallows.
No, I know it. We are. There's a ship we're going now.
So we cheer for all of our pilots on the watch that I'm on. I'm subbing in for folks who have gone down to dinner. We're normally on this watch. We also on our watch, which is from 8 to midnight, which won't happen today. We also cheer when our ROV pilots pick up samples. It's a big event to pick up samples. It's a lot of effort that goes into it. Up you can see flying by on the left, pelagic sea cucumber, and going down the screen, 2 more pelagic sea cucumbers.
Yes, copy that.
Alright, I guess
Pretty
Cody told you
fascinating.
0.7 knots.
And lots of brittle
Yeah, we'll give it a
stars.
shot. And if you start running us over, we'll stop you.
Okay.
Thanks.
General, let us know if there's anything you want to sample.
Okay, moving on.
These clusters are really neat. There's lots of mountains too. Did you guys see anything come out of the holes during the parts before we came? It was, huh. So Jen, are these different kinds of anemones we're driving down?
I'm interested.
Was there sea cucumber?
They're on the sediment.
Yeah.
But they don't look like the ones that like just lay on the sediment. They look like the ones that have stalks attached to them.
Do you want us to try to sample one? We come buy one again?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I don't want to make more work for Emily.
Well, is Emily up?
They might be up.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm willing to help with that one. I'm serious. I'm willing to help with that. She's already taught me how they go through, and well, I've observed her taking care of those. So do you think like maybe the one to the right of that rock pile might be interesting with the short stalk? Yeah.
You have control of the camera.
It's okay. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna move forward.
We need to get to a certain depth, right? What's the depth we're shooting?
They're shooting for 9 feet.
Yes.
Move forward.
Yeah, this is approximate depth at bottom 1850 in the dive plan. Just to address James's comment, Europa and Enceladus have very low gravity, so the oceans would have lower water pressures. Would that make exploring them more challenging? Well, speaking from the NASA side of the house, what makes them more challenging is actually a lot more than just the lower water pressures, and low gravity is a part of it, but more so, the biggest challenge that we face is radiation. So Europa is bathed in electrons that come from the gas giant nearby at Jupiter, and the radiation doses are very, very high. So to start exploring Europa, we're actually not going to immediately land or rove inside of that ocean. We're starting out with flybys, and that mission's called Europa Clipper. And the reason we're doing that, we're flying by, and we're trying to pick a location where the radiation is minimized, because it's pretty challenging to keep your electronics alive while you're flying through pretty intense radiation on the order of about 3 to 6 megarads, which is immensely high. We have to invent different kinds of ways of shielding electronics, different kinds of electronics altogether, and different ways of ensuring that that spacecraft has a lifetime that's long enough to allow us to devise a nearly complete, if not fully complete, map of the Europa surface. Europa is not very well mapped at this point. Lots of challenges in space exploration. And we kind of try to prioritize them up against what we know and understand. Whoa. There's a lot of these little stocky anemones.
I think there's probably just like more of these rocks. I don't know where. How do rocks form?
How do rocks form? Yeah, right.
A geologist, I am not.
And there are a lot of weird things about the topography around here, right? I mean, the mountains we saw earlier in the wash.
Yeah.
And then these just scattered, really dark colored rocks. Really different.
Looks like we're going to get to a 1950, so if you want to sample or whatever you want to do, it's basically doable.
So, Leticia, what's the name of this, the fish you just did?
I think it's a Pacific Grenadier.
Pacific Grenadier?
I think so.
Jenna, are those white things sea cucumber?
Yeah.
Covered with, they look like they have sediment on them.
Straight out.
23 degrees.
They lost their other science camera. Jolie?
Some kind of jellyfish with like
It's a tunicate. It's a tunicate.
tunicate.
Yes. They're chordates like us.
Huh.
Moving forward.
And then they got big
Yeah.
Euro
Well, yeah.
so they're not technically a chordate.
They are chordates.
I thought they got switched to a different class. Yeah.
Pelagic sea cucumbers.
I don't know. They're the closest.
Yeah.
Like, aren't we like super closely related to hydrodrons?
But these were the first chordates.
Yeah.
Move forward.
It's a chordata because chordata is a phylum.
What?
Chordata is a
Phylum.
You go back or?
No.
Ursolar parts and lunar parts.
I thought they got switched to different.
The subphylum was at one time called Uroporta.
Subphylum.
Some interesting terraced structure. We're going up the slope now, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing it all the time.
This seems like a more steeper part of it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take your porch.
Are there a lot of these pelagic sea cucumbers? They're like all over the place.
I think it's a spawning.
You think they're spawning? Is that what happens? They're just all over the
But
place?
there's a lot of animals migrating, or
Yeah.
they are spawning, or they are migrating.
Hmm.
But you haven't seen many. Let's see.
Yeah?
It's cool because these blob-shaped animals, they're very close to us because they're chordates. They are
I'm gonna go on.
I remember this from long ago,
Yeah.
far away. Syndicates.
Now, move over to starboard. Yeah. And then it's probably like
Sea pork, sea livers, sea squirts, and sea tulips. The names of these are always just amazing. Thanks, Stitches. He looks angry.
just so that we can their blocks. So,
That's another escape. Some stars.
We're basically you just want to
More
hang out at
trinkets.
1950 and like look around and sample some more stuff?
Yeah, I think that's what the plan was, right?
Well,
ROV.
the dive plan was saying 1850. I think.
Oh, 1850.
1850. Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure
sorry.
out.
Oh wait, there's compass.
Yeah, I was just moving your waypoint there, but it looks like I'm gonna need to bump you out a little bit more there.
I mean, unless the dive plan changed, but it's 1850.
No, we have a hard deadline.
Yeah.
6:30.
Yeah, it's basically covers much ground up through 1850. And if we see anything else that could look like a barite, I'd suggest we try and go for it. But do we have enough diversity of megafauna and that's been slurped? Because that's part of it. It says try to get a diversity of megafauna via slurp. So what do we have right now?
What is this one?
The sea cucumber.
We just have a sea cucumber?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get to work. But that's it. The plan says that, yeah. I mean, unless you think we shouldn't be, like, we're already overloaded.
No, I mean,
No.
I think if we come across something super interesting.
So like another one of those interesting anemones that you were keen on, perhaps? Like that one?
How about the trinkets?
What?
Nobody's that's
So maybe we go for this one, the lower.
so this is interesting part.
I
Maybe
think
Nicholas Cola.
Yeah, control the camera.
Yeah. I just have to re-remember how to control it.
I don't know. But I mean, like,
So
I'm sure that the Rouse lab would take it to it again.
I'll resume. Like
I
this
guess
one,
it's not an
Jen?
invertebrate.
Do you want to collect?
Apologies.
Yeah, let's grab it in there.
That one? This
You want that?
short-stalked anemone?
Yeah.
The one at the bottom, right?
All right, bridge. That's all stop on that point.
That one back.
Yep, right there. Thank
So
you.
we'll stop here, is that correct?
Roger that. Yeah.
So, Jen.
So as we journey up, we're at 1,942 meters, and we're going to sample some of the more interesting things we see along the way. This is Exploratory dive in San Clemente
All
Escarpment.
right, Jarvis. Doesn't look like our index is positioned. I'll let you land or whatever.
That's as far as I can zoom out. Yeah,
Oh.
and say one of the stalked anemones.
But they are.
Well, you're also on watch. I don't do anything to the kids.
If we're too far back, we can also try and, okay. All right, thank you.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Seeing some brittle stars.
So we're gonna need the index, I think. Go ahead again.
7's clear.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think it's positioned properly. I think it's on. So. Let's try again. I slope up on the index.
just getting ready to get things set up to do a slurp sample. So we're at 1,944 meters, which is about 2 feet down. 2 feet. Oh my gosh, a mile and a quarter. Quite some. It's time for me to go have dinner. Not funny.
Let me just see if it makes sense.
I'm gonna shut it off. You want to bump it?
Well, let's try and crank it up a little bit.
There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes once the creatures come back up to the surface. We have a whole wet lab on the boat, on the Falcor, and there are teams from Harvard and the University of California, San Diego, who examine and prepare all these different species from different ways to do a range of testing, everything from photography to look at the morphology and the larger features of things, to preparations for genetic sequencing, which happens off of the ship. So there's a wide range of activity from the macro to the micro that takes place, and it's really fascinating to see the work that goes on behind the scenes that you won't see. It happens once we return to the surface. So we're going to keep moving forward up the slope. Yep, no worries. Let's go. So we have a limited amount of time on the surface today, and this is all about exploring and capturing images. And so we're going to keep moving up the slope, currently at 1,943.5 meters depth, and we'll be heading up to 1850 or so, until the clock runs out, so to speak. Why are their eyes so big? Do people know why? It's like that fish, why its eyes are so big?
All right, Jason, we're on the move there again. I'll just bump this
I don't
forward
know.
Because
I don't know how much they rely on vision.
yeah,
Because
that's too simple.
the grenadiers have little, if you look on like close to their faces, they have like little nostril things, and but they're not really nostrils. I think they probably have chemical sensory like organs that they rely on much more than vision.
Yeah, I wonder if the vision is actually in the visible part of the spectrum or other parts. With an open aperture like that and no light. And I don't think it's to collect visible. I think it's to.
But you do see the same species, not like shallow, but shallower than this depth. So
with the same dilation of their eyes, or
I don't know. I mean, we never get really great video of it. So, I haven't really paid much attention to the dilation of their eyes.
Another question.
Yes.
If they find treasure, what they could
Hey there.
Hey, you're right, it was John Missing.
Yeah.
John the MT. Yeah, I got confused. I think if it's like something, but then it was like for an ROV guy. But yeah, I asked Nick and he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, she had his name right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right.
There's some crazy stuff down here. Like, have you been watching that?
Right.
I watched a little during dinner.
I don't think you can like go
Why not?
Whoa. Crazy. It's like a striped bulbous sea star.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Stocked anemone.
Keep going.
Let's just keep going. Yeah, I'd say we keep going. So I just read this. I was like, oh well.
Yeah, well, I think that this is very optimistic view of what
that right?
can be accomplished. Yeah.
All right, what was for dinner?
Lamb, dumplings,
Ooh.
pork dumplings,
Sweet
sweet
potatoes
potato
and
and
peas.
pea curry.
All right.
It's delicious.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thank
you.
It's fun. Yes. Can I get a spirit tunnel? Wait, we should have a spirit tunnel. You need one too, General. No, you need to run through it.
Ah.
All right. Well, see you guys.
I did. Do you want me to fill in for you? Yeah. Thank you. Totally. Can I eat your Snickers? No. What did we miss, guys? What's happened in the last half hour?
Nice. We're really excited. There's been like a few thousand viewers. Wow.
2000 what?
Viewers. Wow. Plus or minus.
Plus or minus 2000.
So what else did we sample, Jason? A stocked anemone.
Pardon?
We sampled a stocked anemone.
Oh, did you?
Did we? I don't know. No.
Well, our suction sampler is being difficult.
We tried to.
Well, yeah, we were going to, and then I said it's going to take some time, and the clock is ticking, so they wanted to cover more ground.
Yes. Very much agree.
Tyler approved.
Yeah.
All right, approved.
How fast are we going?
We are going 0.2 meters per second, which is about 3/4 of a mile an hour.
Hey, Jason, I just bumped you a little bit farther there again.
Or maybe about a mile an hour. I think like half a meter per second is like 1.2 miles an hour or something. I did the math at that point because I was curious. I'm like, half a meter per second like does not have any context in my brain for how fast we're actually going. They're like these shelves almost.
Yeah.
Are these? Do you think these are carbonate?
I mean, they look like it.
Lumpy things?
They look like it, but they could be these. How do you say it? Barites?
Barites.
What are therites?
Barites.
What are barites?
Barium carbonate. Yes.
Okay.
So carbonates that we look like they're calcium based.
Uh-huh.
So these are barium based, I guess. I guess these are interesting and unique for reasons unknown to me right now.
Okay.
But I guess if they form, it means there's got to be a lot of barium in the environment.
Right, I think that's,
yeah. So I guess that's a proxy for like a slightly different chemistry in that area.
Uh-huh.
So, chemistry means microbes.
What does barium like? What is just the?
Barium is an alkali earth metal.
Uh-huh.
I think it's in the second row.
Okay.
I have my pen. I have a pen that has a periodic table I could pull out. But
Oh, that's
I left
awesome.
it in Boston because I didn't want to lose it on the ship.
Smart.
But yeah. So basically, like calcium is also an alkali earth metal.
Uh-huh.
So they kind of, to an extent, kind of form similar molecular structures with carbonates and things, I guess.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of barium in the environment, it kind of gets barium carbonates potentially. I guess it's also a function of pH and stuff as well.
Just barium in the case.
Should we? Do you want to sample? Sorry, do you want to sample some of that?
Yeah.
You want to grab one piece, a couple pieces?
We have 3 rocks before.
Ooh, sample time.
Maybe.
Can we get 2 of these rocks? Can you break off 2 of these rocks with like the claw?
Sure.
That may be like our last thing.
I'll stop there, Jason. I'll stop.
Copy,
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
quite sure why we're interested in barites today.
With
Not quite sure why you want barites today, but these are pelagic Leticia thinks that they are in the spawning season right now. There's so many. But
you've seen a lot of them.
they're like all over. But I don't know the baseline levels of them, so I don't know like if they're always a lot. They're pretty cool looking.
You see, what is that green on there? Can I grab the camera for a second, or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whoa. That's awesome. Good choice, Tyler.
I would love to grab a rock that has some of that green on there. I don't know what it is. Yeah, if we could grab like this somewhere up here.
Grab the whole thing if you want. Actually, no, that looks like 2, right?
Yeah, I think if you go, if you grab there and see what comes up.
What sample number are you on?
This is number 3. That looks really fast. You definitely want the green bit sometimes.
Somewhere that has it. Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to, I guess, but.
Oh, it's kind of round and everything. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We could just take that piece.
I meant to do that.
Totally meant to.
Put in B1? Where do you want it?
Yeah, where
What
what?
do you have how big is that? You have space that goes into.
Can be too big because arms grabbing it. Or maybe
You
6
can throw the
inches.
lasers on if you want.
I mean, it's gonna fit in the crate or something, right?
We'll make it that. We'll just drop it down next to the plan partners. Okay.
Okay, so B1, you want to drop in the...
Well, what's bigger? Is those front bio boxes?
That's only 8 inches wide. Okay. So, it's your call. I can put it in the milk crate right there.
Can you just throw in the bio box if it fits? Just because it does have some other organisms on it that
B1?
you might want. Yeah, if that works.
Let it pointy end down.
Bigger bio box section.
Well, you can take those dividers out, I think, but then you're left with less. Is that what you're saying?
No, there's like a middle one.
Oh, the one in the back. I think that this is gonna fit though. I think we have like a bad perception of how big this rock is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys just clap on this one.
You wanted 2 pieces, you said?
It's probably good. Do you want another one? I think that was bigger than I was thinking, so I think that's fine.
There's a little one right here.
I mean, see if it moves.
If it moves, then yeah, over here. Oh, the green bit fell off though. Want it?
Yeah.
We have 10 minutes to get whatever we can. I feel like we're the cash machine that's blowing money all around. Let's just grab whatever we can.
It's like super
Do you want something else?
Nope, I don't think so. I think we can keep moving after this.
But do you want this one?
Yes, yeah, let's just throw it in there. So it's bio box 1-1 and 1-2.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Wait, this one is.
So this is another one. I'm going to go E1, E1. So E1 to sample 3 will be here.
Yeah.
Sample 4.
Okay.
All right, let's rock and roll. Let's rock. So what's your goal here, Tyler? What's your favorite top 3 things you want to collect right now?
I don't know. We're kind of doing it.
All right,
We wanted
the dream.
we wanted rocks. We got rocks. Push cores would be nice, but we don't think there's like a particular area that is going to work very well. So I think we just keep moving, and if we see something else really cool, we can grab it. If not, we'll call it 10 minutes.
So the porch uses 2%. Is that circular? Is that just that 28 porch down?
Oh yeah, for sure. I can see.
As much as we can cover, Tyler?
Yeah, I think we just let's just keep moving up. Up the rise and
East side. It's not up. It's to the east side.
No. Regulators.
Regulators. What'd you say?
I misheard, maybe. It was the song lyric.
Moving on up.
Oh, moving up.
Oh, yeah.
Moving it on up.
I heard a different East Side reference.
Oh,
You know the one I
I think I did.
found up. That's how they say it, right? Regulators. Found up.
Are you talking to me?
Um,
Hey Jason, I moved you out a little bit for about 50 meters to your stern.
Okay.
Thank you. 1850 is coming up. Actually, we landed right at 1850, so. You're,
Distracted by all that hubbub.
I think we're just moving around.
What's that?
we're where's today? When are we recovering?
Yeah. When are we starting to ascend?
6:30.
Sounds good. suck up this cucumber? Just for fun?
I thought it wasn't working very well.
Yeah, get it. Get it.
Plus, we got to do the suction broke.
If you can,
Let's make a test.
I thought.
Off camera. Our suction sampler is less than.
Can you scoop a cucumber?
Oh yeah.
Can we scoop it?
We already have one already. Left to
Oh.
the-
I mean, and I don't think we're gonna find anything more interesting than that in the next
Do
4
we have one
minutes.
that looks like that?
Yeah.
No, not a big one like that.
Oh, that's true.
But is it the same species?
The other one was smaller. This one was like darker. I don't think this one is the kind that like swims off. Well, no, we'll find out when we get here.
Do you guys want that cucumber?
Yeah, let's go get it.
We have last act of the night. Bridge, you can stop right. Just take one sample and then we'll start recovering.
Okay, I'll copy some stuff.
Or chill. Is that right? There it is. Thank you.
You gonna go with the scoop?
Yeah. I don't want to, if I can, not damage it.
Yeah.
Hurt it.
It's a big cucumber. Things like this, right?
That's kind of gross.
Yeah, sure.
Where are you going to put
Wherever it fits. One of
B3? B1?
It's a lot bigger than I thought there. Oh, I have to pick.
I was gonna say, can you scoop them from the side?
Pick him up. Well, we'll try with the scoop.
Might start floating.
Need like a big spatula. Flip them.
He's gonna float.
He is.
Probably just give him a little lump squeeze there. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you think you can. Or is it like, can you scoop them up in the suction sampler and dump them in? No, with
That didn't
Yeah,
work
that's
too
what I was
well
gonna
this
do.
morning.
I think cradling with the jaws probably. the best
okay,
bet.
yeah, let's do that.
Nice. Oh.
So water sausages.
Water sausage.
What's that?
Go, 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 go. That thing is huge. Good luck to Emily.
All right, time to recover.
All right, let's recover. Viewers for watching. You've been watching a live stream from the ROV aboard the RV Falcor from the San Clemente Escarpment. We are going to begin our recovery procedures now. Thanks for watching. So again, I wanted to give a sign off. This has been the last dive of our expedition, #BackyardDeep.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of our viewers who have watched over the last 2 to 3 weeks. We've enjoyed interacting with you and answering your questions, and we hope that you follow along on the next expedition aboard the RV Falcor. Thank you.